Quick update, was going to do a quick seminar on how rights are divided up with the use of a purposely bought raspberry and cream sponge cake. But I've also got to do a journey today. Thought, well, I'd best pack my bags first and then I can do the raspberry and cream sponge thing. And then it transpires that my passport was not in the thing it just always lives in, permanently, never moves. And then it transpires that one of my children had decided to hide my passport. So I've literally turned my house upside down, passport back now in this thing. I have an hour till my plane leaves and I'm roughly 40 minutes from the airport. So I twatted it down the motorway, twatted it through the terminal. They gave me special clearance to get on the plane. And then my bag took that walk of shame, you know, it stops and goes to the side. And do you know the reason why? That fucking pot of marmalade. Okay, the marmalade reference is possibly totally lost here because I've realised that was a little subplot, cute one that I left on the cutting room floor. Basically what happened was I was served up breakfast on a BA flight, but they had no bread for the marmalade that they'd given me in this cute little pot. So I thought I'd find the marmalade at home. Unfortunately, the marmalade made me miss my flight today. Little fucker. I'm that close, but I don't think I'm there. I think I'm fucked. Marmalade. We're having a go, we're having a go. There's a mega moon out there. I don't know if you can see. Yes, I've got my boarding pass with me. I was worried today that I hadn't taken the dog for a walk, so I hadn't got my exercise in. It feels like I've literally run from Edinburgh, and the I'm not the man I used to be. Okay, so the thing I've learned today is hide your passport from your children. And if your children do hide your passport in a ruse to stop you from going away, the way to get it back, because it took me an hour to figure this out, is to say, Daddy's in a lot of trouble, Daddy's going to lose his job, Daddy's going to have to sell the house, and you're going to have to go to boarding school. A lot of American cousins will think that's a hollow threat, but believe you me, if you live in the UK as a kid, it's a real kind of thing that kind of hangs over your head. You know, it doesn't matter if you're posh or not. I know people have gone to comprehensive schools, haven't done their homework, and they end up being sent to like Geneva for 2 years. But anyway, I made my flight, and honestly, you know, the only way to go to Iceland from the UK is Icelandair, because they've got these massively fat chairs, TV thingies, they've got plugs. Icelandair know how to do it, BA doesn't. And they've got these rutting grids. I would like to say that I'm refreshed, but I'm far from it. I think yesterday was so stressful. I'm suffering a little bit from PTSD today. Right, off to see Olafur. All the way up. It's your Spitfire Stalkers. You light from left to right?
Yeah, so yeah, like ideally you would want.
But as you view it,
yeah.
So yeah, it's actually you're lighting the right hand side of their face.
Be here.
Right.
So you read. Yeah.
It's a thing in film as well, like characterization. They always have like the heroes going from left to right across screen, and the villains going from right to left.
Yeah.
It's like Lord of the Rings, isn't it?
Yeah.
1 9-hour pan from left to right, and then back again for 20 minutes.
No, they fly back and miss.
I think do they? They should miss. Oh, I didn't know you could fly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot we had a flying eagle that could like transport us for 12 hours in 3 minutes of the last section.
I love coming to Iceland, not only because I have some newfound friends here, but also because, I don't know, I guess as a midlife surprise is to discover that the UK has a whole set of neighbours to the north of our isles. I think historically we have a lot of animosity towards the French, as they do to us. And there's the kind of forever feuding of the Scots and the English. So to discover that there's this this community of brethren, of neighbours up here is absolutely fantastic. I also think that the music scene is particularly special, and I think something has always stuck in my head of an explanation from an Icelandic why it's such a kind of special music scene here is basically there is no marketplace. The population is so small, 300,000 people live here, that you can't make money out of your domestic audience. So therefore you don't create music for the marketplace, you just create music for you, which is why I think it has such a special individuality and is such a kind of hotbed of creative innovation.
How are you finding the artwork? Did you like it?
I liked it,
Yeah.
yes.
Between Lee's shot and Tom's editing.
And that's yours as well. There's a music.
Delicious.
I think the other thing that characterises the music scene here is a history of resourcefulness. It is a very small, actually it's a very big landmass. It's not that much smaller than England, but it's a tiny number of people quite far up in the north of the Atlantic Ocean. So as a consequence, the cost of, you can't Amazon Prime a Moog Voyager or something. So there's very much a make-do attitude here. I know I'm boring you till you're blue in the face talking about this, but this kind of starving yourself of resources is where the resourcefulness comes and the originality. It's what creates the tension, that all-important word that you need in order to create something original and new. And I think it goes back to the 1950s of studios having to use old US military hardware to create compressors and stuff. There's a resourcefulness and an innovation and a kind of a make-do attitude. It's like, we've got these tools, we've got these limitations on what we can bring into the country, the duties are huge, the cost of shipping is huge. So there's, I think, a greater degree of invention that I really admire.
But they look at you. They look at you in this way that's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, come in. They're like,
Fantastic interview with Olafur. So out for a few pints, and then I'm getting the first plane out back to Glasgow. Vlog bomber. Whilst one must presume that he's a kind of kindred spirit regarding the creation of a kind of sonic universe, not just a musical one, I think it's actually great for us to have, in this interview, to have really dissected what that is. And I think what he has pointed out, what he's found fascinating about the process of creating sample libraries is to be able to concentrate on each individual note, the actual sound of each note and that creation. Obviously when you have an instrument, whether it be virtual, a piano, or whatever, the sound is kind of preordained. When you instruct a player, they interpret it in a certain way or play it in a certain style. But what sampling, the romance of sampling, allows you to do is to sculpt each and every sound to create something that is part of the inspiration process, inspiration gathering, the spark of creativity and ideas. And that's why I'm so evangelical about people not relying on commercial libraries, making sample libraries and sounds of their own, because it enables you an indulgence in concentrating and controlling the quality of the sound at a minute level that is simply not possible during a performance. And I think this is a really kind of light bulb moment for me with not just Olafur but with Spitfire, because by far the most successful libraries we've done to date have been the ones where every single note has been carefully sculpted. So all of Olafur's output are orchestral swarm, but also something that I've been alpha testing, Eric Whittaker's new library, which is just absolutely fucking sensational. But again, because he has personally sculpted each and every note by hand. I don't know, this is, for me, it's a new way of thinking about sampling that's dawned on me today. So, as always, a very inspiring trip to Iceland. So keep an eye on the mother channel, Spitfire Audio, for these interviews. We've done, I think, 3 pieces of content. One will be part of the kind of promo content for the new Olafur library, which is, I don't know, well, certainly one of my favourite things we've done in a long time. I think that there's this idea that with Evos it's all about kind of static chords and stuff, but as Olafur showed me, you can create really quite complex, moving music where you change the chords, but the soundscape is just so engaging and absolutely wonderful. So as I say, keep an eye on the mother channel for this interview stuff, because one of it's going to be in a journal and is a much more kind of general talk about creativity and being a composer, which I think you'll find fascinating. If you like what I'm doing here, hit like, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Lots of exciting things coming up.